Shruti, glad to have you with us. Stephanie, hello, hello. Baldevi, good morning. Jenna Vatsal, glad you are here. Disha, welcome. Kimberly, hello, hello. Sydney, hello and welcome. Leila Mundry, glad that you are here as well. Um, and that's what we got. How's everybody doing today? Everyone doing all right? Any updates? Doing good. Um, all right. Haven't heard from Kishore or Chuta, but right now it's just us. Right now it's just us. How David feels more sheltered today after seriously challenging days. Well, I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you're feeling sheltered. I'm sorry for the challenges. I'm glad that you're here. Here comes Irenka. Um, hmm. Kimberly, yesterday you said to remind me of a podcast story that you heard the day before yesterday. Yes. And why? I remember that story, but why did I want to tell that story? I don't remember why I wanted to tell that story. Where did we leave off? Let's look at Kimberly's notes.
I think you were talking about like being grateful for gifts given to us and like having tools to navigate difficult situations. And,
Having tools to navigate difficult situations.
and then you ended it with saying that like we're worth it, our spiritual lives are worth it. I don't
I
know, that
remember.
helps.
I remember all of that. I have no idea why, what, what I was referring to. But thank you for the reminder. Stephanie's feeling grateful for this community that has turned into her spiritual tribe. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. All right. Well, Kishore's not here. So maybe we we'll launch it. I don't even remember where we were. Solo. All right, guys, we're gonna go live. You help me out here. In 3, 2, 1. Welcome everybody coming at you live from Brooklyn. This is Spirit Matters, your daily spiritual check-in with the Bhakti Center. My name's Dal Grunga, and it's just me today. Kishore and Achyuta are not with us today, but we got our live Zoom studio audience. We got Kimberly's here with us, and all of our other beautiful Zoom attendees, and you're here wherever you're tuning in from, wherever you are. Thank you for being here. If it's your first time with us, welcome. Really glad you're here. We're here just to check in. Life is tough, and there's a lot going on, and it's easy to get distracted. And so we're here just to check in with each other. Yesterday, today, Kimberly was reminding me because I said there was a podcast story that I heard the day before yesterday. Excuse me, that I wanted to tell, but I have zero recollection about why why I wanted to tell that story. Kimberly was trying to remind me of a few points, but nothing was coming up. Anything else you remember, Kimberly? No. Bhakti Center announcements. Yes, let's go ahead and do a brand new segment of our show. Bhakti Center announcements. We're going to India. Going to India in a couple weeks, actually. I think there's still time to sign up. There should be. Kishore Chandra is leading a pilgrimage with Dhanya and Bali at the end of this month in January. So please check that out, bhakticenter.org. We're also, if you're in the city, we're starting a in-person 200-hour yoga teacher training with Brinda Kumari and Jumuna Jaya. Really great opportunities. I, myself, Dal Garanga, starting we have community groups at the Bhakti Center, opportunities to kind of connect with other people on your spiritual path at different phases of life and spiritual growth and development. Please excuse my slight little cough. Don't worry, you can't catch it over the airwaves. We have beginning Bhakti groups for people that are just exploring Bhakti, and growing Bhakti groups, people that are interested in developing their Bhakti practice. I'm leading an in-person group. My sense is that most people listening are not in New York City, but if you are, I'm leading an in-person group, beginning Bhakti on Tuesdays, starting in February 7th, I think it is, Tuesday. And I'm also starting a men's group. I don't know how many men there are out there, but I thought I'd do a men's group. Sorry to all of our female listeners. But I'm starting a men's group reading, what's it called? The Yoga and the Dark Night of the Soul by Simon Haas. It looks at Arjuna's dilemma at the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita and sort of the dark night of the soul experiences that we have, the feeling, what feels like a cataclysmic breakdown that leads to the breakthroughs of our spiritual life, and how we navigate that. Because I do think that there's this sense, the men's group is online. The men's group is online, so it's more accessible. It's going to be Wednesdays, 10 a.m. Eastern time, starting, I think, the first or second Wednesday. It's all at bhakticenter.org. That was an unintentional emphasis on the O. And Yoga and the Dark Night of the Soul. I think there is and you can chime in here, Kimberly, whenever you like. You're going to be my sidekick for the day. If there's a comment here that you want to bounce off me so that I feel like I'm talking to somebody. There's this idea in spiritual life that it's sort of everything, all the edges of life smooth out, and that things become easy, and that we stop experiencing struggles, and that we stop experiencing even sorrow or despair, and that we're just happy all the time, and that everything is just kind of hunky-dory and rainbows. And but it's not actually the case. We still experience the sorrows of life. We still experience doubt. We still experience questioning. We still experience uncertainty. And really, spirituality is the tools that we have to navigate through it in a way that inspires growth, because we are all still, we're all patients in this material world. We have this dis-ease of material consciousness that we're working through. And so how we navigate sorrow, how we navigate grief, how we navigate feelings of breakdown in our spiritual life, it's all there in Yoga and the Dark Night of the Soul. So we're reading that together. Last announcement, I can just keep going on, is that we're starting an Ayurveda training. 100-hour Ayurveda training, Foundations of Ayurveda, coupled with a 300-hour Ayurveda wellness coach. My wife is leading it, Rasika Gopi. And so those will be online and in person. It'll be a hybrid. So you can check those out as well. Just go to the bhakticenter.org if you're interested in Ayurveda wellness, whether you're interested in for your own practice in life and well-being of how to incorporate basic principles, understanding your doshas, understanding the rhythms of nature, understanding eating according to the seasons, understanding basic wellness practices into your morning routine, into your daily habits that allow you to live more in tune with the rhythms of your body and nature. Or if you're interested in adding it to your healing practice, if you're a coach or a trainer or a doctor, I guess if you're already a doctor, then you know what you're doing. But if you're if you're looking to just kind of add it to your, if you're a healer or a yoga teacher or a trainer or a coach, you want to add that to your practice. All of that's there. Ayurveda trainings, beginning bhakti and growing bhaktis. Kishore Chandra is leading a Gita course on February 13th online, exploring the Gita. It's a 12-week course on the Bhagavad Gita. If you want to dive more deeply into the Bhagavad Gita, he's leading an online course. So we got stuff going on. It's happening. Right, Kimberly?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. Kimberly's contribution. Beautiful. All right. So we're moving on in our session here, reading the Bhagavad Gita. We're somewhere on I'm looking at Kimberly's notes from yesterday. These are the right ones. Spirit Matters, episode 183, January 4th, intentionally directing our empathy. Christian is waking up and checking his phone to see how we're doing. Beautiful comment. We brought up some situations that were happening in the world, and we were looking at the verses. Those persons who execute their duties according to my injunctions and who follow this teaching faithfully without envy become free from the bondage of fruitive actions. But those who, out of envy, disregard these teachings and do not follow them regularly are to be considered bereft of all knowledge, befooled and ruined in their endeavors for perfection. That's Bhagavad Gita chapter 3, verses 31 and 32. Where we left off yesterday. Anything else I'm missing, Kimberly, where we left off? Kimberly's like, don't ask me to speak. I'm just here to take notes.
That's about it. And we're starting on verse 33 now.
Okie dokies. Well, there we go. Verse 33. Bhagavad Gita. If you're looking for a Bhagavad Gita where we're referencing the Vedabase, Vedabase. You search that up online. I never spotted lighted myself here. Okay, there we go. Even a man, woman, person, human being of knowledge acts according to his own nature. For everyone follows the nature they've acquired from the three modes. What can repression accomplish? Ooh, this is a juicy one. So the three modes enter into the idea of just material nature, the laws and energies that are influencing the world around us. And there are energies that influence us. There are energies that influence us. If you've ever been to a concert, there's like this energy that's just like you walk into a ever walk into a room and you feel the energy of a room. Ever walk into a space and you just kind of feel like it uplifts you or it brings you down or it creates a calm in you or it creates anxiety in you or it energizes you. There are energies. If you just think of the words calm, think of the word peaceful, serene, and then put an image in your mind of a place that comes to mind. Kimberly, when you hear the words serene, calm, peaceful, what's a place that comes to your mind?
Something about the ocean, about sunset.
I was thinking of the ocean too, right? Are there a lot of people on the ocean or is it kind of empty?
Nah, it's empty.
Empty. It's empty. And if you think of like if you're thinking of like high energy, if you're thinking of like something that's like pumped up and excitement and aggression and I don't know what else can you use to describe a different mode of nature. You know, you think of like Wall Street or you think of like a busy shopping mall or something like that. It just creates a anybody ever do any shopping on Christmas Eve? My wife and I did some shopping on Christmas Eve, and we're like, everybody in here is irresponsible. Everyone in here shares something in common. These are our people. We all share something in common. You're not in here for any other reason. Shopping on Christmas Eve. Or shopping on Black Friday. And you ever go to malls on Black Friday? There's a certain energy, and it moves you and it causes you to do crazy things. So this idea that there are modes of nature that influence us, that influence our decisions, that influences the way we behave, that influences the way we act. And it's not just the energy of a room, but those are just examples of how we get influenced by energies and modes around us. So every person here, Krishna's mentioning the Bhagavad Gita, acts according to their own nature. So we're all given our own nature. It's sort of like I was talking about this Ayurveda training earlier before, and the idea of health and understanding your own living, discovering health according to the rhythms of your own body. One of the things about Ayurveda is there is no universal diet. There is no universal exercise routine. There is no universal body type, and it's not even like, okay, there are these categories of bodies and you fit into one, and therefore because you fit into this category, this is what's good for you. Even there are general guidelines, but according to your specific body type, according to your particular situation, according to the season that's going on, and even with your body type, according to just the condition that your body is in right now, this is a diet that may be good for you. This is an exercise routine that may be good for you. Certain body types, raw foods, really good. They lift you up, they energize you, they keep you from feeling lethargic. Other body types, raw foods, bad. You're already so light and airy and ungrounded, so to speak, that you need like fatty, oily foods to kind of like ground you a little bit more. And so this idea of like this universal diet is not supported by Ayurveda. We at the Ayurveda Institute of Me do not herefore condone universal diets. There may be some universal truths, fried foods in canola oil are generally not good for anyone. But when we get into the specifics, it's very, very individualized. I got this little cough. Sorry. Individualized. Yes, the Ayurveda classes are online, Sydney. Check it out. bhakticenter.org. And at the same time, similarly, we all have our own nature. We all have a nature that's been given to us according to the modes of nature. And so much of the Bhagavad Gita, which is very interesting, is Krishna responding to Arjuna's particular nature as a leader, as a manager, as someone who's in a particular situation, and his responsibility, not just of like what should anyone do in a particular situation, but what should you do in this particular situation? And it's really, really hard for us to think like that because we live so much in a culture that is look to your left and look to your right and see what someone else is doing. Look how someone else is living your life, their life. They're the same age as you, and they already have this, that, and the other. They're already married and built a family and blah, blah, blah. They already have a certain level of income. They've already started a certain career, and they're the same age as you, or they have the same background as you, or they have the same whatever as you. Why aren't you already there? And it's like, well, just because they're the same age doesn't mean that we're the same. Just because we came from the same place or born in the same city doesn't mean that we're the same. Doesn't mean that we're given the same tools and resources. And I'm not even talking about like socioeconomic backgrounds. I'm talking about our natures, our psychophysical natures, and what we're inclined towards. And also what is, when we look at things from a spiritual perspective, we are put here on this earth to grow and connect ourselves back to source. And so what may be good for our material growth may or may not be good for our spiritual growth. And depending upon our priorities, we will put stock or value in things accordingly. And so, yes, I may or may not be as ahead materially. I may be less ahead than somebody else materially, but it doesn't mean that I'm behind or more of a failure, because maybe right where I am right now is what's needed in order for me to go more deep into my spiritual life and be introspective. I remember when I was in high school, I wanted to save the world and do all kinds of philanthropic things. And I wanted to go to quote unquote, third world countries and build houses and serve underprivileged communities. And I asked my parents to send me, and they said no. And I was really angry at them. A, they didn't want to spend that money. And B, it was like, I'm not sending my 17-year-old kid to a country by himself before cell phones existed and there's no internet and whatever. And I remember being upset, and I was talking to my friend about it. And he was kind of like, he started siding with my parents. And I was like, whose side are you on here? And he was like, you don't need to go across the world to help people. You know, it may not look as sexy or exciting or epic as you may think, but there's probably people just down the street that need your help. You know, it may not be in the way you think it should be, but they're like, what's put right in front of me? And we get so caught up in thinking big and outside, trying to make my life look like somebody else's, that I don't look like what I miss. What is God putting right in front of me? What is God putting right in front of me? And it's not about achieving something as much as it is transforming along the way through the effort. And so each of us are given a particular nature. Let's go ahead and read the commentary on this verse. Kimberly, am I doing all right so far, Kimberly? How are we doing?
You're doing great, Zaya.
Doing great. Anything you should pull out that I should focus on, or just keep rolling?
Keep rolling with the flow for it.
Keep going with the flow. Okay. Commentary for this verse, which I will reread. Even a man, woman, person, human being of knowledge acts according to his own nature. For everyone follows the nature they've acquired from the modes of nature, from the three modes. What can repression accomplish? Commentary. Unless one is situated on the transcendental platform of Krishna consciousness, God consciousness, awareness of a higher reality, awareness of a higher purpose, a higher plan, a divine being that's guiding us and within us and our relationship to that person, they can't get free from the influence of the material nature, as it is confirmed by the Lord in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So there's a verse there that says that when one connects themselves back to source, when one surrenders oneself to a higher power, then the seemingly insurmountable obstacles of material life become doable, life becomes much more manageable. Therefore, even for the most, even for the most highly educated person on the mundane plane, it is impossible to get out of the entanglement of Maya simply by theoretical knowledge, or by separating the soul from the body. Separating the soul from the body, meaning in terms of like intellectualism, like understanding theoretically the difference between the soul and the body. There are many so-called spiritualists who outwardly pose as advanced in the science, but inwardly or privately are completely under particular modes of nature, which they are unable to surpass. So we can speak the spiritual talk. We can speak all the right things. We can speak all the verses and all the lessons and all the hashtags and all of the cool phrases. And we could even dress the part and even develop a certain accent that makes us sound particularly spiritual. But inwardly, where's my consciousness? Inwardly, where's my heart? How much in the grip of material nature am I under in terms of my ability to make conscious decisions, to live with integrity, my selflessness, my inner peace, my sense of connection. Academically, continuing on, one may be very learned. Okay, I know a lot. But because of his long association with material nature, he is in bondage. We're using the he pronouns here. Krishna consciousness helps one to get out of the material entanglement, even though one may be engaged in his prescribed duties in terms of material existence. Therefore, without being fully in Krishna consciousness, one should not give up his occupational duties. No one, this is really beautiful, no one should suddenly give up his prescribed duties and become a so-called yogi or transcendentalist artificially. It is better to be situated in one's position and to try to attain Krishna consciousness under superior training. Thus, one may be freed from the clutches of Krishna's Maya or illusion. So, this requires us to understand a different purpose of our life. Don't quit your day job, Leela Manjari says. Yes, beautiful. Thank you. Don't quit your day job, meaning that how do I define success? How do I define progress? How do I define whether or not life is moving in the right direction? If I'm defining whether or not life is moving in the right direction according to material progress, I'm going to get caught in the hamster wheel of feeling like I'm constantly going up and down. It's not enough because things never here is the spoiler alert. Things never work out materially. Things never work out materially. It's never happened ever. And even when I feel like I'm getting on like a, feel like I'm going to lose some followers here. Even when we think it does, it's an illusion. It's an illusion. It's just, people are like, I'm waiting for the shoe to drop. That's because it always does. Materially, things never work out. And so if I'm waiting for things to work out materially, I'm going to get caught in the hamster wheel of perpetual anxiety. That's why in Vedic lingo, in Vedic theology, or just in language, epistemology, the origin of words, etymology, Vaikunta, which is a name for the spiritual world, means the place without anxiety. Vaikunta, without anxiety, is a name for the spiritual world, meaning that in the material world is a place of constant and regular anxiety. Why is it a place of constant and regular anxiety? Because I'm sitting here hoping and waiting for things to work out materially. Now, if that's how I'm judging progress, I'm going to be caught up. But if I'm judging progress that regardless of how things are going materially, my job in this short time that I have, this undefined period of time that I have in this life, which is one of many, many, many lives. This is not our first rodeo. One of many lives that we've been given throughout time immemorial is to figure out a way to get out. And not like a figure out a way to get out, like a tunnel we create, like in, a tunnel underground, like I got to find a map out, but like find a way out by learning the ways I need to shift my consciousness. And in that way, there may be a lack of material hope, but there's tremendous spiritual hope. There's tremendous, tremendous spiritual hope that even in the midst of the greatest storms, I can learn to find shelter. Even in the midst of pouring rain, I can find a reason to dance. Even amidst life's greatest uncertainties, I could find clarity. even in amidst what seems to be the loneliest of rejections materially, I can find tremendous belonging and acceptance spiritually. And so Krishna is telling Arjuna, don't give up your day job, because that's not going to, because it's in following the path laid out for you, one day at a time, adding Krishna consciousness into your life gradually, you will transform. You will transform. It is no one should suddenly give up their prescribed duties and become a so-called yogi or transcendentalist artificially, because it's not based off of the externals. It's based off of the internals. All right. That's our time. That's what I got. That's our little reminder for today. Kimberly, how are we going to take all of that and wrap it up into something that we can walk away with?
Thanks, Saya. We can take away today that we all have our own nature that has been given to us by the modes of nature that influence the way we behave and act. To not compare ourselves to others materially, and instead asking ourselves what we should do in a particular situation, and asking ourselves if we're transforming through the effort. And that your spoiler, that materially things never work out, and to figure out a way to get out of the hamster wheel. You gave examples by like finding a reason to dance when it rains, or even finding belonging in the midst of rejection, for some example.
Thank you, Kimberly. Yeah, I will end it with, like, wherever you're at in your situation, it's going to be okay. You're all right. And it's a lot easier for me to say that on this side of the microphone. But at least what we can do is we can release the judgment that we place on our life circumstances, the judgments of, I'm a failure, the judgments of things never work out for me. Things never work out for anybody materially. It's just an illusion that we think it does when we view it from our vantage point on the outside. And so the judgment that we put of, I'm a failure, I'm behind, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, we can just release all of those things and just start to at least open ourselves to the idea that I'm right where I need to be. I have everything I need in order to take the next right step in life. And I don't need to worry about being somewhere other than I'm not. And life is not meant for me to progress materially. It's meant for me to progress spiritually. We're all here for a very short period of time. And we all are worth it to keep going. All right, that's where we're going to end. I love you guys. I appreciate you. And today's Thursday, so we got one more this week. We'll see you all tomorrow, same time, same place. Thank you again. Make sure to check out bhakticenter.org for all of those cool announcements that I gave. And take care, everybody. We love you. Bye.